I didn't think anything of it at first. Dropped calls happen all the time. I was driving home late, just past midnight, taking the back road to avoid traffic. The kind of empty stretch where your headlights feel too bright and everything beyond them feels deeper than it should. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. I answered on speaker, eyes still on the road. Hello? Static. Soft. Faint, like someone breathing into the receiver from very far away. Hello? I tried again. The line clicked. Disconnected. I shrugged it off, but my fingers lingered on the phone a second longer than they should have. The screen went dark. The road stretched on. Then it buzzed again. Same number. I frowned and picked up. Yeah? This time there was no static, just silence. Thick, heavy. Then a sound. Scratching, slow, uneven, like fingernails dragging across wood. My grip tightened on the wheel. Who is this? The scratching stopped. For a moment there was nothing. Then I heard it. My voice, faint, distant. Who is this? I felt something cold slide down my spine. That's not funny, I muttered, but my voice came out thinner than I expected. The call ended again. I stared at the phone, my pulse starting to pick up. The road ahead blurred slightly at the edges. A second later, it buzzed again. I didn't want to answer, but I did. I don't know why. Maybe curiosity, maybe something else. I hit accept and brought the phone closer this time. I didn't say anything, neither did it. At first, then I heard breathing. Closer now, wet, uneven, and beneath it, a second sound, a faint echo of my engine, my tires on asphalt. My car. I pulled the phone away slowly, my throat tightening. That's when I noticed something on the screen. Call duration, 0013. It flickered, then reset, 0011. The breathing stopped. A whisper came through, right against the speaker. Connected. The word stretched, distorted, like it was being forced through something too tight. My hands started to shake. I nearly dropped the phone. The headlights flickered just once, then again. The darkness beyond them seemed to press closer, thicker, alive. Connected, it said again. My voice. Perfect. I slammed the brakes. The car skidded slightly, gravel crunching under the tires before I came to a stop. Silence flooded in, too sudden, too complete. Even the engine sounded muted. I looked at the phone. The call was still active, 0013. Frozen, not counting anymore. My breath came shallow, quick. The air inside the car felt colder, stale. Then a knock, soft, from the back seat. My entire body went rigid. Another knock, slower this time, deliberate. The smell hit me next, damp, rotting, like something had been sealed away too long and just opened. My fingers trembled as I reached for the rearview mirror. I tilted it up. At first, I saw nothing, just darkness. Then, a shape sitting directly behind me, still, too still, its head tilted slightly, just enough that I could see the outline of a face. My face. paler, stretched, eyes too wide. The call crackled. Connected, it whispered, not from the speaker, from the back seat. My lungs locked. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move, because I realized something. The call timer didn't reset. It didn't end. It just transferred. And as I stared into the mirror, watching that thing slowly lean closer, my phone buzzed again in my hand. Incoming call from my number, 0013.
I used to work nights moderating flagged calls for a telecom company. Not customer service, not tech support, just listening. Our system ran on an algorithm that scanned for anomalies, unusual patterns, repeated failed connections, numbers that behaved wrong. Most of it was harmless, glitches, spam loops, pocket dials. But sometimes a number would get flagged over and over again. Same tag. Wrong number. That was the label. I remember the first time I saw it climb to the top of my queue. 13 flags in under an hour. Same caller ID, no registered owner, no location data, just a number that didn't seem to belong to anything. I clicked it. The audio file opened with a soft hiss, then breathing. Close, wet, like someone was holding the phone too close to their mouth. I leaned in, adjusting my headset. "Hello?" a voice said. Male, tired. It sounded normal. Then a pause. "I think you have the wrong number." Click. The line ended. I frowned and checked the log. Duration? 13 seconds. Every call. Exactly 13 seconds. I opened the next one. Same voice, same words, same length. Over and over. Each call identical. Perfect copies. That shouldn't happen. Even spam calls have variation. I scrolled further down the queue. There were more. Dozens now, all flagged, all the same. But then I noticed something. The timestamps. They weren't minutes apart. They were seconds. As if the calls were happening simultaneously. My hand started to feel unsteady on the mouse. I clicked the most recent one. The audio began. Breathing, but louder this time. Closer. "Hello?" The voice again. But something was off. There was a slight delay, like an echo trying to keep up. "I think you have the wrong number." The sentence overlapped itself near the end, the last word doubling, distorting. Number. Click. The line didn't go silent. The file kept playing. Static filled my ears, low and crackling. Then, a new voice, quieter, right behind the first. "Don't hang up." My stomach tightened. I checked the duration. 0013. Frozen. Not moving. The breathing came back, but it wasn't just one person anymore. It was layered. Multiple breaths, out of sync, some fast, some slow, all too close. I pulled one side of the headset, like that might help. It didn't, because I could still hear it. Faint, not through the speakers. In the room, behind me. I turned slowly in my chair. Empty office, rows of cubicles, dark monitors, no one else on shift. But the smell hit me. Damp, rotting, like wet cardboard left too long in a closed space. My throat went dry.
I turned back to the screen. The system had updated. New calls flooding in, hundreds now, all from the same number, all labeled wrong number. The audio files began opening on their own, one after another, voices overlapping. Hello? I think you have the wrong number. Don't hang up. Stay on the line. The words layered, building, warping into something incoherent. My hands shook so badly I knocked my headset onto the desk. But the sound didn't stop. It got louder, filling the room, filling my head. I grabbed the mouse, trying to close the system. The cursor froze, then moved on its own, opening a live call. The interface changed. No playback controls, no timestamp, just a blinking indicator. Active connection. I couldn't breathe. The smell was stronger now, closer, right behind me. "Hello?" the voice said. Clear, not from the speakers, from the room. "I think you have the wrong number." Cold air brushed the back of my neck. My vision blurred, because I realized that wasn't a recording. It was happening now. The screen flickered. The caller ID changed from that impossible number to mine. The system labeled it instantly. Wrong number. And then, before I could move, before I could even turn around, the line connected.
I worked the overnight shift as an emergency dispatcher. Graveyard hours. Quiet most nights. Just the low hum of fluorescent lights and the occasional call breaking through the silence. Drunk drivers, noise complaints, the usual. That night started the same, until 2:13 a.m. A call came in. No caller ID, no location data. That happens sometimes. I answered anyway. 911, what's your emergency? Silence. Not empty silence. Breathing. Slow, shallow, too close to the receiver. I leaned forward slightly, adjusting my headset. "Can you hear me?" A faint sound came through. Scratching, like fingernails dragging across something hard. "Hello?" Then a voice. Mine. 911, what's your emergency? My fingers tightened around the desk. The call cut. I stared at the screen. Duration 00.13. I swallowed and logged it as a dropped call. Probably interference. Probably. 30 seconds later, it rang again. Same unknown ID. I hesitated, then answered. 911, what's your emergency? Breathing. Scratching. Then, my voice. Clearer this time. 911, what's your emergency? But there was something under it. Another layer. A whisper just behind the words. Don't send them. My chest tightened. Who is this? I asked, my voice thinner now. The scratching stopped. The line went dead. I checked the time. 2:13 a.m. Still. I frowned. That wasn't right. Time doesn't just stop. I tapped the screen. Nothing. The clock didn't move. The room felt colder. The hum of the lights faded, leaving a thick, pressing quiet. Then, the phone rang again. Loud. Too loud. I flinched before answering. 911, what's your emergency? My voice came out automatically now, like muscle memory. The call answered itself. I didn't press anything. Breathing filled my ears. Closer. Wet. Panicked. Then, a scream. Short. Cut off.
My heart slammed against my ribs. "Location," I demanded, leaning forward, my hands trembling against the console. The system flickered. Coordinates tried to load, then vanished, replaced by a timestamp. 2:13 a.m. Again, the same call, repeating, but different. Each time, the breathing got worse, faster, more desperate. The scratching turned into something heavier, dragging, like something being pulled across the floor. I could hear it now, a voice under mine, weaker, shaking. "Please, don't send them." Cold sweat slid down my back. "Who?" I whispered. The line crackled. Then, a sound behind me, soft, a chair creaking. I froze. There was no one else on shift. I turned slowly. Empty desks, dark monitors. Still. The smell hit me then. Damp, rotting, like something left too long in a closed room. The phone rang again. I didn't touch it. It answered anyway. 911, what's your emergency? My voice. From the speakers. But I hadn't spoken. I looked at the screen. The caller ID field had changed. It showed my station number, my line, my call. My hands shook so badly I had to grip the desk to steady myself. The breathing came through again, but this time it matched mine. Perfectly. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I stopped breathing. The line went silent. Then, a whisper, right behind me. "Don't send them." Hot breath brushed my ear. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, because I understood. This wasn't a call coming in. It was a call going out. And every time I answered, I was getting closer to the moment that needed help. The screen flickered again. The timestamp reset. 2:13 a.m. The phone rang. And this time, I already knew what I was going to say.